folks, happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. To turn my headphones up a little bit. How are we doing? How are we doing? Let me turn this down a little. There we go. That should be good enough. The traffic is quite noisy again, as always. That's what always happens at the 11:15. But good evening, how are we doing? How are we doing tonight? I am fantastic, thank you, Chris. How are you tonight? How are you doing? How are you doing? How's it going? Where is the logo gone? Oh right, that's why. There we go, the logo is here. So, there's a couple of new things. Again, would it be a recharge stream without a couple of new things tonight? So, you may notice that we've got a new light here. We've also got one over the other side. You can't really see the light, but you can see the glow from the light, so it's more consistent. And we've got the old lamp up on my bedside table. There's another one on the other side as well. We've got this little display thing that I can. It's like an art thing. These are like pixels, and you can fill them in. Let me show you the app. So, cancel, bruh. What am I looking at? I don't know. What do I go? Oh yeah. So you can see these are all designs that I can put up on the thing. Brilliant. So for example, if I wanted this Squid Game one, I just tap on it. And there we go. Got a little Squid Game animation. It's called Divoom, I think. I got it as a gift. Good evening, David, by the way. How you doing, buddy? So I just thought like a fireplace or something would probably be best suited for the stream. But I don't know. Maybe I could make it like a channel point redemption that you can choose what goes on there. That might be fun. That might be fun. But yes, I'm doing very well, thank you, David. I'm doing very well. How are you? But yes, obviously, we're now affiliate. So there's a couple of things that you can use channel points for now. Oh, I've gone really dark. But yeah, if you click on over by the chat, there's like a little battery icon underneath the chat box. And there you can redeem a whole bunch of things. So we've got Hydrate at 100 channel points, Echo at 1500 channel points, Name Trace at 1500, Highlight My Message at 100 channel points, Posture Check at 100, a Stretch at 250, Trigger Word for 300 channel points, Franklin, who's the little sausage dog, for 500 channel points. You can shut me up for 5 whole minutes for 2,500 channel points. Or if you get bored of the trigger that I'm doing, you can force me to switch it up for 2,500 channel points. Or the VIP role for 50,000 channel points. There you go. So if you want that VIP in chat, you better start saving up now. a new trigger object. I will grab it. Hold on. So I can give you things with the battery for free. Yeah, exactly. So if you click on the battery, then there's a whole bunch of redemptions that you can do. Basically, the amount of points that you spend, it will just take it off you, and then I'll use it with those points. So new trigger objects. I have these little guys, little flasks of water. I think they make some quite cool, like, water sounds. Posture check. Thank you, David. Let's sit up straight. There we go. Thank you for the posture check. Yeah, so I've seen a lot of people use them, but I've never tried them before. I've also never really watched any ASMR with them, because it's not really my favourite trigger. But I thought I'd get it and try it. They're also pink, because the pink ones on Amazon were the cheapest. Was it about to spend loads of money on little like flasks of water, essentially? So I'm not sure how many channel points that you actually get for watching. But like, that's nothing that I can control. Annoyingly, it's the whole channel points thing is all on Twitch. It's all up to Twitch as to distribute channel points. Yo, Diogori, thanks for the stretch. There we go, thank you for the stretch. Yeah, so you get channel points just by watching the stream, that's all it is. And I believe you can also get like bonus channel points. Need to pump the thing together. Kinda sound like do you remember those magnets from years ago? Or were they called like oods or something? Oids. I'm being really careful not to do it too hard. Really don't want them to smash. That's quite cool though. That is pretty cool. How's it going, Diogori? How's it going, buddy? Good evening, good evening, good evening. You may also notice that we've currently got one sub emote, which is annoying because we're supposed to have 3 right now. For some reason, the one sub emote that we have, the recharge tingles emote, was approved instantly, but the other 2, bearing in mind I submitted all of these emotes at exactly the same time. The other emotes just haven't been approved for some reason. Whereas Jar, I think he's in Italy at the minute, right? see if I can get get some like pictures of the emotes up. The new emotes that we will have. Media source. Is it media source? Oh no, image. My bad. Recharge. Okay, so this is the tingles emote. This is what we already have. This is the one that's been approved. This is Rejar 10 tingles. That's the emote that was automatically approved, annoyingly. And then we have also got, this will be Rejar 10 Wave. And then we have also got Rejar 10 Love, I think we opted for. So those are the emotes that we will have for subscribers. At the minute, for some reason, we've only got the tingles emote. But hopefully we'll be able to get the rest soon too. I hate when desktop audio does that. I have to like keep an eye on my creator dashboard. I'll open it just real quick now. I need to keep an eye out on. Okay, I thought it was gonna play a live stream again. Viewer rewards, emotes. Yeah, annoyingly, they're still pending approval, but hopefully we can get those approved soon. I heard that like when you start streaming more, they get approved quicker or something like that. So I guess we'll see just how true that is. So yeah, just because name trace is a channel point redemption now, I'll still be doing them for follows and stuff. And for subscribers, I'll probably do it like like their name 3 times or something like that. I wonder who the first subscriber will be. Technically me. See, because this chair is bigger, I'm like closer to that. Like I don't have a lot of room to move because my bed is behind me unless I like move like that. But now I'm on centre annoyingly. Unless I move the camera over a smidge. Why is there nobody here? Who knows? We're only 18 minutes in. Yo, Eduardo, how's it going, buddy? How's it going? How's it going? Good evening, welcome in, welcome back. How are you doing tonight, buddy? Okay, the real question is, can these stand up? No, of course they can't because they are round. I'll just gently place them on my desk. Gently does it. Ah. Have another drink of water, I think. Why is this one rolling? There we go. Have another little bit of water. Remember, for 100 channel points, you can force me to drink water. I don't think I'm like logged in the right account in OBS for some reason. Like, how? I really want rain on my window for the noise, and honestly, nothing beats a good old rainstorm. I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. Should we switch it up a bit and have some rain sounds instead of the fireplace sounds tonight? Something a little bit different, maybe. Yeah, honestly, I would love a rain stop right now. It's been so humid in the UK. It's been like no rain for ages. It'll be amazing. Let me see, do I have any rain things to put on this thing? Rain. Rainbow. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Oh yeah, you can kind of see that. Let me try and find 2 hours rainstorm. It needs to be a little bit quieter. There we go. Let me know if that's too loud or if it needs to come down any more, or if you don't like it. If you don't like it, then I can always just turn it off as well. Let me change these lights as well. There we go. It's good. Nice. Okay, good. well, thank you, and very well, thank you, buddy. Okay, so I think for a little bit at least, I don't know if it's going to be the full stream, but I think I'll do it for a little bit, yo, and thank you for the hydrate. Appreciate it. Using your batteries wisely there. Yeah, I think, I don't know if I'm going to do it for the full stream, but I will read some Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, I think. Or, as it's called in the UK, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. It is really hot, yeah, I'm sweating. I went out briefly today. Whenever you want to drink, just ask. Yeah, I'm physically not allowed to drink unless you guys spend channel points, so I'm joking. Yeah, I had to go out to buy some new bulbs for these lamps because the bulb that I had for the other lamp that is on the other side of the bed that you can't see just doesn't work. So I had to go to IKEA and buy a new one, which was like, it's like a half an hour drive away, a little bit less than that. But it's right next to a shopping centre, so I also called into the shopping centre, because of course I did. Got myself a Taco Bell, and also went into Primark and bought some Greg's merch. Do you guys like my new bucket hat? Looks awesome. Thanks, Zen, I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm really like taking pride in having like a cool setup now. Yeah, that drip. Oh, it's so warm here. Okay, yeah, so I'm gonna do a little bit of Harry Potter reading tonight. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone for something a little bit different. If you don't like it, save up your channel points. No, I'll probably do it for, I don't know, maybe an hour, see how it goes. If people like it, then we'll keep doing it. If people don't like it, then we'll stop. We'll stop. So yeah, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, known as Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone here in the UK. Let's start off with Chapter 1, The Boy Who Lived. Here we go. I'll still be reading chat, by the way, so if you want to say anything, by all means. Okay, there we go. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal, thank you very much. They were the last people you'd expect to be involved in anything strange or mysterious, because they just don't hold with such nonsense. If we don't like it, we can call it straight. Yeah, exactly. Mr. Dursley was the director of a firm called Grunnings, which made drills. He was a big, beefy man with hardly any neck, although he did have a very large moustache. Mrs. Dursley was thin and blonde, and had nearly twice the usual amount of neck, which came in very useful as she spent so much of her time craning over garden fences, spying on the neighbours. The Dursleys had a small son called Dudley, and in their opinion, there was no finer boy anywhere. The Dursleys had everything they wanted, but they also had a secret, and their greatest fear was that somebody would discover it. They didn't think they could bear it if anyone found out about the Potters. Mrs. Potter was Mrs. Dudley's sister, but they hadn't met for several years. In fact, Mrs. Dursley pretended she didn't even have a sister, because her sister and her good-for-nothing husband were un-Dursleyish as it was to be possible. The Dursleys shuddered to think what the neighbours would think, what the neighbours would say if the Potters arrived in the street. The Dursley knew that the Potters had a small son too, but they had never even seen him. This boy was another good reason for keeping the Potters away. They didn't want Dudley mixing with a child like that. yeah, my girlfriend absolutely loves Harry Potter. She absolutely loves it. Little Tyke chortled Mr. Dursley as he left the house. He got into his car and backed out of number 4's drive. I feel like my dad reading me to sleep. I was on the corner of the street that he noticed the sign. The first sign of something peculiar. Sorry, I'm awful at reading. I should have probably prefaced that. A cat reading a map. For a second, Mr. Dursley didn't realise what he had seen. Then he jerked his head around to look again. There was a tabby cat standing on the corner of Privet Drive, but there wasn't a map in sight. What could he have been thinking of? It must have been a trick of the light. Mr. Dursley blinked and stared at the cat. It stared back. As Mr. Dursley drove around the corner and up the road, he watched the cat in his mirror. It was now reading the sign that said Privet Drive. No, looking at the sign. Cats couldn't read maps or signs. Mr. Dursley gave himself a little shake and put the cat out of his mind. As he drove towards town, he thought of nothing except a large order of drills he was hoping to get that day. But on the edge of the town, drills were driven out of his mind by something else. As he sat in the usual morning traffic jam, he couldn't help but notice that there seemed to be a lot of strangely dressed people about. People in cloaks. Mr. Dursley couldn't bear people who dressed in funny clothes, the get-ups you saw on young people. He supposed this was some kind of stupid new fashion. He drummed his fingers on the steering wheel, and his eyes fell on a huddle of those weirdos standing close by. They were whispering excitedly together. Mr. Dursley was enraged to see that a couple of them weren't young at all. The man had to be older than he was and wearing an emerald green cloak. The nerve of him! But then it struck Mr. Dursley that this was probably some silly stunt. These people were obviously collecting for something. Yes, that would be it. The traffic moved on, and a few minutes later, Mr. Dursley arrived in the Grunnings parking lot, his mind back on drills. By the way, I might for tomorrow's stream. I feel like the gaming stream will be nuts. What happens in tomorrow's stream? Is there going to be a gaming stream? Yeah, there will be a gaming stream tomorrow. As N says, stream 3 days a week, Tuesday and Thursday normal, and ASMR is gaming. Yeah, that's absolutely right. I'm still not fully decided as to what game I'm going to play. I'm still not sure if I'm going to continue straight or if I'm going to pick a new game entirely. I'm still not 100% sure, but it will be a gaming stream tomorrow, yeah. No Way Gaming Stream, Yes Way Gaming Stream, yeah. Every single Wednesday, gaming streams. I say gaming ASMR streams. Still ASMR, but we play video games as we're doing it. Demi! My goodness, that's a name I've not seen in a while. How are you doing? Welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back. Yeah, I'm really excited to posture check and hydrate. Thank you, Em. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited to do the gaming things. I think it's fun to to break it up, you know. It's fine, Demi, honestly. I'm just happy to have you back. I hope everything's okay with you. Yo, Bogged Onion. Thank you for the follow. There you go, new follower alert, new follower sound. Bogged Onion, or Bogged Onion, not sure. It's been okay, sadly have an annoying headache. That sucks, Demi, that sucks. Okay, Bog. Here comes your name, Trace. Bog Onion, okay. Bog Onion, got it. Okay, here comes your name, Trace. Bog. Here we go, here we go. B. 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 O. G. G. D. Thank you, Bog Onion, for the follow. I really appreciate it. I'll actually keep that pen up here. Yeah, the gaming ASMR streams I absolutely love. It's quite laid back. It's just obviously mostly just whispers and like controller sounds, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. Very nice, very tingly. Thank you. No worries, Bog. It's my pleasure. Welcome in. I hope you enjoy your time here tonight. But if I do echo, how long do you do it? I think it specifies a time, right? I'm pretty sure I put a time in there. Click on it. Yeah, echo voice effect for 2 minutes. So it'll be for 2 minutes. 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Yeah, controller sounds are great. Yeah, I love controller sounds too. Okay, right, back to Harry Potter then for a little bit. Mr. Dursley always sat with his back to the window in his office on the 9th floor. If he hadn't, he might have found it harder to concentrate on drills that morning. He didn't see the owl swooping past in broad daylight, though people down the street did. They pointed and gazed open-mouthed as an owl after owl sped overhead. Most of them had never seen an owl, even at night time. Mr. Dursley, however, had a perfectly normal, owl-free morning. He yelled at 5 different people. He made several important telephone calls and shouted a bit more. He was in a very good mood until lunchtime, when he thought he'd stretch his legs and walk across the road to buy himself a bun from the bakery. Yo, Bog, I shall get that trigger word sorted for you now. Do I have like a specified amount of time that I did the correct trigger word for? 60 seconds. Okay. Click, 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 changed his mind. He put the receiver back down and stroked his moustache, thinking, no, he was being stupid. Potter wasn't such an unusual name. He was sure there were lots of people called Potter who had a son called Harry. Come to think of it, he wasn't even sure his nephew was called Harry. He'd never even seen the boy. It might have been Harvey or Harold. There was no point in worrying Mrs. Dursley. She always got so upset at any mention of her sister. He didn't blame her if he'd had a sister like that. But all the same, those people in cloaks. He found it a lot harder to concentrate on drills that afternoon, and when he left the building at 5 o'clock, he was still so worried that he walked straight into someone just outside the door. Sorry, he grunted as the tiny old man stumbled and almost fell. It was a few seconds before Mr. Dursley realised that the man was wearing a violet cloak. He didn't seem at all upset at almost being knocked to the ground. On the contrary, his face split into a wide smile, and he said in a squeaky voice that made passers-by stare, "Don't be sorry, my dear sir, for nothing could upset me today. Rejoice, for you know who has gone at last. Even muggles like yourself should be celebrating this happy, happy day." An old man hugged Mr. Dursley around the middle and walked off. Mr. Dursley stood rooted to the spot. He had been hugged by a complete stranger. He also thought that he had been called a muggle, whatever that was. He was rattled. He hurried to his car and set off for home, hoping he was imagining things which he'd never hoped before, because he didn't approve of imagination. No worries, Bob. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much, buddy. Good night. I hope you sleep well, and I hope to see you again soon, buddy. sister lately, have you?" As he had expected, Mrs. Dursley looked shocked and angry. After all, they normally pretended she didn't have a sister. "No," she said sharply. "Why?" "Funny stuff on the news," Mr. Dursley mumbled. "Owls, shooting stars, and there were a lot of funny-looking people in town today." "So," snapped Mrs. Dursley. "Well, I just thought maybe it was something to do with, her crowd." Mrs. Dursley sipped her tea through pursed lips. Mr. Dursley wondered whether he'd tell her sons. Mr. Dursley wondered whether he dared tell her he'd heard the name Potter. He decided he didn't dare. Instead, he said, as casually as he could, "There's son. He'd be about Dudley's age now, wouldn't he?" "I suppose so," said Mrs. Dursley stiffly. "What's his name again? Howard, isn't it?" "Harry. Nasty common name, if you ask me." "Oh yes," said Mr. Dursley, his heart sinking horribly. "Yes, I quite agree." He didn't say another word on the subject as they went upstairs to bed. Whilst Mrs. Dursley was in the bathroom, Mr. Dursley crept into the bedroom window and peered down onto the front garden. The cat was still there. It was staring down Privet Drive as though it was waiting for something. Was he imagining things? Could all of this have to do with the Potters? If it did, if it got out that they were related to a pair of... well, he didn't think he could bear it. The Dursleys got into bed. Mrs. Dursley fell asleep quickly, but Mr. Dursley lay awake. You're playing FIFA with ASMR. That should help you calm down. His last comforting thought before he fell asleep was that even if the Potters were involved, there was no reason for them to come near him and Mrs. Dursley. The Potters knew very well that he and Petunia thought about them and their kind. He couldn't see how he and Petunia could get mixed up in anything that might be going on. He yawned and turned over. It couldn't affect them. How very wrong he was. Mr. Dursley might have been drifting into an uneasy sleep, but the cat on the wall outside was showing no sign of sleepiness. It was sitting as still as a statue, its eyes fixed unblinkingly on the far corner of Privet Drive. It didn't so much as quiver when a car door slammed on the next street, nor when two owls swooped overhead. In fact, it was nearly midnight before the cat moved at all. A man approached on the corner. The cat had been watching. Appeared so suddenly and silently you'd have thought he just popped out of the ground. The cat's tail twitched and his eyes narrowed. Nothing like this man had ever been seen on Privet Drive. He was tall, thin, and very old, judging by the silver of his hair and beard, which were both long enough to tuck into his belt. He was wearing long robes, a purple cloak that swept the ground, and high-heeled buckled boots. His blue eyes were light, bright, and sparkling behind half-moon spectacles, and his nose was very long and crooked, as though it had been broken at least twice. This man's name was Albus Dumbledore. Albus Dumbledore didn't seem to realise that he had just arrived in a street where everything from his name to his boots was unwelcome. He was busy rummaging in his cloak, looking for something, but he did seem to realise he was being watched, because he looked up suddenly at the cat, which was still staring at him from the other end of the street. For some reason, the sight of the cat seemed to amuse him. are you doing? He found what he was looking for inside his pocket. It seemed to be a silver cigarette lighter. Yo, Sabby, thank you for the follow, buddy. I appreciate it. Here comes your name trace, buddy. Here comes your name trace, name trace, name trace, name trace, name trace. Thank you. I appreciate it. Underscore 2 4 1 4. Thank you, Sabby, I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy your time here. Welcome to the stream. I don't know why it gives it to me in the middle of the night. Yeah, that is weird. It's not even like it's a somewhat reasonable time of night either. Like if he gave it to you at like, I don't know, 9 or 10 p.m, something like that. Yeah, that wouldn't have been so bad, but like 1 a.m, what is wrong with him? Hey, look under there behind you. So far, you're the first one to say my name. You're good at it more than once. Thank you, Sabby. I appreciate it. I do try as best as I can not to butcher people's names. Sometimes it works better than others. There's a regular in the stream called Giles. And I still get his name wrong. So yeah. He flicked it open, held it up in the air, and clicked it. The nearest street lamp went out with a little pop. He clicked it again. The next street lamp flickered into darkness. 12 times he clicked the put-outer, until the only lights left on the whole street were 2 tiny pinpricks in the distance, which were the eyes of the cat watching him. If anyone looked out of their window now, even beady-eyed Mrs. Dursley, they wouldn't be able to see anything that was happening down on the pavement. Dumbledore slipped the putter-outer back inside his cloak and set off down the street toward number 4, where he sat down on the wall next to the cat. He didn't look at it, but after a moment, he spoke to it. It says I don't have an easy name, unfortunately. No, unfortunately, that's what the machine threw. That's fine. To be fair, it was like, it didn't take much for me to work it out. But I know that a lot of people on Twitch don't even bother with people's names. But that couldn't be me. Fancy seeing you here, Professor McGonagall. He turned to smile at the tabby, but he had gone. Instead, he was smiling at a rather severe-looking woman who was wearing square glasses, exactly the shape of the markings the cat had around its eyes. She too was wearing a cloak, an emerald one. Yosemite, thank you for the stretch. Lovely, thank you, appreciate Appreciate it, appreciate it. Her black hair was drawn into a tight bun. She looked distinctly ruffled. How'd you know it was me? She asked. And thank you for the hydrate. I should probably leave the lid off at this point. I'll just try not to knock it over, because that could be disastrous. My dear Professor, I've never seen a cat sit so stiffly. You'd be stiff if you'd been sitting on a brick wall all day, said Professor McGonagall. All day, when you could have been celebrating. I might have passed a dozen feasts and parties on my way here. Professor McGonagall sniffed angrily. Oh yes, everyone's celebrating all right, she said impatiently. You'd think they'd be a bit more careful, but no, even the muggles have noticed something's going on. It was on the news. I gotta leave now, I'm sorry, my timer rings in 5 hours, so you have a good night and great stream. Thank you, Ed, thank you for stopping by, I really appreciate it, as always, buddy. I hope you have a fantastic night's sleep, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. If not, I hope to see you again very, very soon. Good night, Ed, I really appreciate it. Good night, buddy, good night, good night, good night, good night, good night. Good night, good night, good night. She jerked her head back at the Dursleys' dark living room window. I heard it. Flocks of owls, shooting stars. Well, they're not completely stupid. They were bound to notice something. Shooting stars down in Kent. I'll bet that was a Deadler's Diggle. He never had so much sense. You can't blame them, said Dumbledore gently. We've had precious little time. We've had precious little to celebrate for. 11 years. I know that, said Professor McGonagall irritably. But there's no reason to lose our heads. People are being downright careless out on the streets in broad daylight, not even dressed in muggle clothes, swapping rumours. She threw a sharp, sideways glance at Dumbledore here, as though hoping he was going to tell her something, but he didn't. So she went on. A fine thing it would be if, on the very day that you-know-who seems to have disappeared at last, the muggles found out about us all. I suppose he really has gone, Dumbledore. It certainly seems so, said Dumbledore. We have much to be thankful for. Would you care for a lemon drop? A what? A lemon drop. They're kind of muggle sweets I'm rather fond of. No, thank you, said Professor McGonagall, coldly, as though she didn't think this was the moment for lemon drops. As I say, even if you-know-who has gone, my dear Professor, surely a sensible person like yourself can call him by his name. All this you-know-who nonsense. For 11 years I have been trying to persuade people to call him by his proper name. Voldemort. Professor McGonagall flinched, but Dumbledore, who was unsticking 2 lemon drops, seemed not to notice. It all gets so confusing if we keep saying you-know-who. I have never seen any reason to be frightened of saying Voldemort's name. I know you haven't, said Professor McGonagall, sounding half exasperated, half admiring. But you're different. Everyone knows you're the only one you-know-who. Oh, alright, Voldemort was frightened of. You flatter me, said Dumbledore calmly. Voldemort had powers I will never have. Only because you're, well, too noble to use them. It's lucky it's dark. I haven't blushed so much since Madame Pomfrey told me she liked my new earmuffs. Professor McGonagall shot a sharp look at Dumbledore and said, The owls are nothing next to the rumours that are flying around. You know what they're saying? About why he's disappeared. About what finally stopped him. It seemed that Professor McGonagall had reached the point she was most anxious to discuss. The real reason she had been waiting on a cold, hard wall all day. For neither, as a cat, nor a woman, had she fixed Dumbledore with such saying, she pressed on, is that last night Voldemort turned up in Godric's Hollow. He went to find the Potters. The rumour is that Lily and James Potter that they're dead. Dumbledore bowed his head. Professor McGonagall gasped. Lily and James, I can't believe it. I didn't want to believe it. Oh, Albus. Dumbledore reached out and patted her on the shoulder. I know, he said heavily. Professor McGonagall's voice trembled as she went on. That's not all. They're saying he tried to kill the Potter's son, Harry. But he couldn't. He couldn't kill that little boy. No one knows why or how, but they're saying that when he couldn't kill Harry Potter, Voldemort's power somehow broke, and that's why he's gone. Dumbledore nodded glumly. It's true, faltered Professor McGonagall. After all he's done, all the people he's killed, he couldn't kill a little boy. It's just astounding, of all the things to stop him. But how in the name of heaven did Harry survive? We can only guess, said Dumbledore. We may never know. Professor McGonagall pulled out a lace handkerchief and dabbed it at her eyes beneath her spectacles. Dumbledore gave a great sniff as he took a golden watch from his pocket and examined it. It was a very odd watch. It had 12 hands, but no numbers. Instead, little planets were moving around the edge. It must have made sense to Dumbledore, though, because he put it back in his pocket and said, Hagrid's late. I suppose it was he who told you I'd be here, by the way. Yes, said Professor McGonagall, and I don't suppose you're going to tell me why you're here, of all places. I've come to bring Harry to his aunt and uncle. They're the only family he has left now. You don't mean, you can't mean the people who live here, cried Professor McGonagall, jumping to her feet and pointing at number 4. Dumbledore, you can't. I've been watching them all day. You couldn't find two people who are less like us, and they've got this son. I saw him kicking his mother all the way up the street, screaming for sweets. Harry Potter, come and live here. It's the best place for him, said Dumbledore firmly. His aunt and uncle will be able to explain everything to him when he's older. I've written them a letter. A letter? Repeated Professor McGonagall faintly, sitting back down on the wall. Really, Dumbledore, you think you can explain all this in a letter? These people will never understand him. He'll be famous, a legend. I wouldn't be surprised if today was known as Harry Potter Day in the future. There'll be books written about Harry. Every child in our world will know his name. Yo, young dog, how's it going, buddy? I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for the congrats, I really appreciate it. How are you doing, buddy? How are you doing? How are you doing? Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Just came home and went straight to the stream. I appreciate that. I appreciate the support as always. Appreciate it, appreciate it, appreciate it. Yeah, no Joel tonight. He's on holiday at the minute. I'm not too sure when he's back, but hopefully it'll be this week at some point, but we have no idea. Oh, it is so warm in here, my goodness. I'm seriously contemplating putting the fan on, honestly, it's that bad right now. Let me just see if I can get away with having it on. Actually, no, I'll just stick with it. I'll just stick with it. Exactly, said Dumbledore, looking very seriously over the top of his half-moon glasses. It would be enough to turn any boy's head. Famous before he can walk and talk. Famous for something he won't even remember. Can you see how much better off he'll be growing up away from all of that until She eyed his cloak suddenly as though she thought he might be hiding Harry underneath it. Hagrid's bringing him. You think it's wise to trust Hagrid with something as important as this? I would trust Hagrid with my life, said Dumbledore. I'm not saying his heart isn't in the right place, said Professor McGonagall grudgingly, but you can't pretend he's not careless. He does tend to. What was that? A low rumbling sound had broken the silence around them. It grew steadily louder as they looked up and down the street for some sign of a headlight. It swelled to a roar as they both looked up at the sky, and a huge motorcycle fell out of the air and landed on the road in front of them. If the motorcycle was huge, it was nothing to the man sitting astride it. He was almost twice as tall as a normal man, and at least 5 times as wide. He looked simply too big to be allowed, and so wild. Long tangles of bushy black hair, and his beard hid most of his face. His hands were the size of trash can lids, and his feet, in the leather boots, were like baby dolphins. In his vast, muscular arms, he was holding a bundle of blankets. Hagrid, said Dumbledore, sounding relieved. At last, and where did you get that motorcycle? Borrowed it, Professor Dumbledore, sir, said the giant, climbing carefully off the motorcycle as he spoke. Young Sirius Black lent it to me. I've got him, sir. No problems, were there? No, sir. House was almost destroyed, but I got him out all right before the muggles started swarming around. He fell asleep as we were flying over Bristol. Dumbledore and Professor McGonagall bent forward over the bundle of blankets. Inside, just visible, was a baby boy, fast asleep. Under a tuft of jet black hair over his forehead, they could see a curiously shaped cut, like a bolt of lightning. Is that where? Whispered Professor McGonagall. Yes, said Dumbledore. He'll have that scar forever. Couldn't you do something about it, Dumbledore? Even if I could, I wouldn't. Scars can come in handy. I have one myself above my left knee that is a perfect map of the London Underground. Well, give it me, Hagrid. We'd better get this over with. Dumbledore took Harry in his arms and turned towards the Dursleys' house. Could I say goodbye to him, sir? Asked Hagrid. He bent his great shaggly beard over Harry and gave him what must have been a very scratchy, whiskery kiss. Then, suddenly, Hagrid let out a howl like a wounded dog. Yo, Joe! How's it going, buddy? Yo. How's your holiday? But I'll only be here for like 1 minute because my internet provider is fucking me over. Oh, that shit. Got like 10. Bruh. That's a joke. Oh god, it's so warm. I'm gonna make this short. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. You'll sub later. Okay, no worries. Thank you, Joel. Appreciate it, buddy. I hope you're enjoying your holiday. Take this first as a birthday present. Oh goodness, what's this? Bruh! What the hell, dude? Thank you so much for the 4,000 bits. That is crazy. Thank you, dude. I really appreciate that. Thank you. You're a legend. Thank you, Charles. I really appreciate it. That's awesome. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. That is insane. Props the only bits I'll ever buy. I appreciate it nonetheless. Thank something like that. Which is crazy. I just used 12 bucks in internet. Dude, that's insane. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate the bits. I really appreciate it. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your holiday, buddy. And I'll see you very soon. Big love, big love, big love. Good night, buddy. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night. I really need to get like a... Well, we've got the thing there, but I need like a text thing. If I don't know how to do it via PayPal next time. Honestly, don't worry about it, buddy. I appreciate it. I'm stupid for trying to be trend. Hey, at least you got a cool little bit badge now though, right? To go alongside your VIP badge. God, it's so warm in here right now. Charles, is it here? It really is. Do not deserve that man. I do not deserve that man. And you're the next one, my disciple. Good night, buddy. Good night, 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 good night. Oh my goodness. Okay. God, that's really put me off. I don't know where we were in the book now. Threw me off with all those bits. Bloody hell. Okay, okay, okay. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Sebi. Sia. Is it Sia? Because the SZ is like just an S, right? Sia. Okay. Like Sia in English, like CYA. Sia. I'm really struggling in this heat, but I don't want to turn on a fan because I know it will make too much noise. I actually feel like I need to take my fucking t-shirt off. Oh yeah, here we go. Shh, here's Professor McGonagall. You'll wake the muggles. Sorry, sobbed Hagrid, taking out a large spotted handkerchief and burying his face in it. But I can't stand it. Lily and James dead, and poor little Harry off to live with muggles. Yes, it's all very sad, but get a grip on yourself, Hagrid, or we'll be found. Professor McGonagall whispered, patting Hagrid gingerly on the arm as Dumbledore stepped over the low garden wall and walked to the front door. He laid Harry gently on the doorstep, took a letter out of his cloak, tucked it inside Harry's blankets, and then came back to the other two. For a full minute, the three of them stood and looked at the little bundle. Hagrid's shoulders shook. Professor McGonagall blinked furiously, as the twinkling lights that usually shone from Dumbledore's eyes seemed to have gone out. Well, said Dumbledore finally, that's that. We've got no business staying here. We may as well go and join the celebrations. Yeah, said Hagrid in a very muffled voice. I best get this bike away. Good night, Professor McGonagall. Professor Dumbledore, sir. Wiping his streaming eyes off into his jacket sleeve, Hagrid swung himself onto the motorcycle and kicked the engine piss myself, Chris. Look at how much water I've drunk already. Like a quarter of the bottle. In an hour and 20 minutes. We'll be live for an hour and 20 minutes. Bruh. I'm shook. Maybe I'll like... let's take this ring off. Do this whilst I'm reading. I shall see you soon, I expect, Professor McGonagall, said Dumbledore, nodding to her. Professor McGonagall blew her nose in reply. Dumbledore turned and walked back down the street. On the corner, he stopped and took out the silver put-outer. He clicked it once, and 12 balls of light sped back into their street lamps, so that Privet Drive glowed suddenly orange, and he could make out a tabby cat slinking around the corner of the other end of the street. He could just see the bundle of blankets on the step of number... Fuck's sake. If you read the time it's going for... Yeah, it really is. Yes, the loud noise counter still survives, Demi. That's your legacy right there. But would you know that the last stream that was on Thursday last week, we had none. 2.5 hours we were live for. 0 loud noises. It's the first time that's ever happened in like 3 or 4 weeks of streaming now. Good luck, Harry, he murmured. He turned on his heel, and with a swish of his cloak, he was gone. A breeze ruffled the neat hedges of Privet Drive, which lay silent and tidy under the inky sky. The very last place you would expect astonishing things to happen. Harry Potter rolled over inside his blankets without waking up. One small hand closed on the letter beside him, and he slept on, not knowing he was special, not knowing he was famous, not knowing that he would be woken in a few hours' time by Mrs. Dursley's scream as she opened the front door to put out the milk bottles. Nor that he would spend the next few weeks being prodded and pinched by his cousin Dudley. He couldn't know that at this very moment, people meeting in secret all over the country were holding up their glasses and saying in hushed voices, "To Harry Potter, the boy who lived." And that is the end of chapter 1, and I think that is where we will leave the reading for tonight. Yeah, thanks for that. We'll just do some regular old ASMR now, I think, for the next hour. So if anybody has any trigger requests, by all means. You look a little thirsty. You know what, Chris? I'm alright. For fuck's sake. No, I lied. I am thirsty actually, so I'm going to take a sip. I'm definitely going to need a piss before I go to sleep tonight, that's for sure. But yes, we'll probably pick up on Harry Potter on Thursday. Maybe we'll do like a chapter a day. But obviously because of the gaming stream tomorrow, we won't have time to read. ice facial globes. I think you're supposed to put them in the freezer and let the liquid freeze, but like the liquid's still nice and warm and cold. What am I doing? What do you mean? What am I doing? Trying to calm myself down. This isn't the hue I know. Oh yeah, forget that my Discord has my stream stuff on it. God, it is so warm in here. Like, bruh. I'm seriously sweating out big time. He's doing a great thing. I think I really do need to turn on a fan because this is not it right now. Like, you can see how sweaty I am. I'm gonna have to turn on the fan, even if it's just brief. Give me 2 seconds, I'll be back in a sec. just went and stood by the fan. I had to turn the, because like the fan is so loud that I can't just have it on. I just turned it on and stood by it for a little bit. Stereotype, that name looks familiar. Yeah, that's the one. That's my main account, yep. That's the one. This is my main gig these days. That's me. That's me. Sorry, I'm just checking something on my phone real quick. God, I'm so hot again already. I've turned to the dark side, yeah. Oh God, the fucking the cars piss me off. Pringles or Lay's? I mean, yeah, it's gotta be Pringles, right? It's gotta be Pringles. It's also not called Lay's in the UK. They're called Walkers in the UK for some reason. I don't know why. Like, it seems that they're called Lay's everywhere else in the world. Yo, thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. Amy, right? Thank you for the follow. Long time. Pringles just hit different, you know. I'll probably regret doing that. Well, the thing is, I usually do name traces for follows. Do you want one? You don't have to have one if you don't want one. Yeah, I don't know, just Pringles are so much better. Walkers are just boring, you know, personally. So yes, please. Go on. Okay. Here comes your name trace. Here we go. I-T-S. Oh my. T H A T G I R is a long one. My arm is aching. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it, appreciate it, appreciate it, appreciate it, appreciate it. I had to close Discord, I forgot that Discord makes noises. What else can we do? What else can we do? Let's get out the Discord. Do it again, I crashed. No, sorry, that's a one-time affair. You drink? Yeah. I'm sweating. All the drink that I'm putting into my body, I'm just sweating straight back out again. You crashed. That's a shame. You'll have to rewind or something. I swear that, like, the reason why this room gets so hot must be the lights. I have so many lights, I feel like I'm in like an actual studio or something. I have to end a little bit sooner tonight. I think I'll keep going till 1:15. Only because it's so hot in here that I physically cannot get, like, my t-shirt is like gilling into my back. I'm so sweaty, it is horrendously warm in here tonight. But I'll be back again tomorrow from 11, doing gaming ASMR tomorrow. I guess we'll find out what game we play. Am I thirsty? I don't even need to answer that question, do I, Chris? I crashed, man, what the hell, I missed it and had to refresh. Well, maybe if he had a shorter name, maybe I would redo it. No, you don't do it. I don't know how much of that I believe. Have a punch. Lol. Won't be long until I end anyway. Then you can just rewind and rewatch it, right? out on my desk. I don't know if the camera's going to focus on it or not. Probably not. What do you call a can opener that doesn't work? A can't opener. That's so bad. I love it. I love it. Oh god, it smells so good. Christmas cookie, Yankee Candle wax melt. Oh, it's amazing. It is so unbearably hot tonight. It's only 15 degrees outside as well. What's the humidity? degrees. 82% rather. What's a golfer's favourite drink? A cup of tea. Dreadful. Dreadful, dreadful, dreadful. Oh, bro. Dreadful, eh? I know, you're gonna hit me with something even worse. Oh no. What happens if I... Whoa, funky. Do I need to piss? No. I don't. Don't you hate it when someone answers the right questions? I sure do. Yep. Awesome. Hydrate. Yep. Of course. Thanks, Chris. I should put a cool down on that fucking redemption. You know what would be cool? You know, one of those things that you hold and then the liquid like boils up. That'd be cool. Oh my fucking god. Another hydrate. Yep, epic. It's like, do you remember that, I think on the radio or something, somebody, like on the radio in America, like a radio station did a competition of like, drink as much water as you can and then see how long you can hold it for. And then someone died doing it. I feel like this is what you guys have set me up to do. Oh my. I'm halfway through a 1.5 litre bottle of water. It's gonna get so hot this week. It's gonna be so hot this week. 29 degrees tomorrow, 29 degrees on Friday, 31 degrees on Saturday, 32 degrees on Sunday. Oh, I'm so over it. So so over this weather already. Just let it be winter, please. So I'm going to be live for another 15 more minutes, folks. Then I'm going to head off a little bit early, although it's still 2 hours and 5 minutes. I swear to goodness. I hope you're all out of points. I hope you're all out of points. What was I saying? Yeah, so we'll still be over the 2 hour mark. I've made sure to set myself a limit of streaming for 2 hours at least. So we'll still be hitting the 2 hour mark. But yeah, not the 2.5 hours that I've been enjoying because it's just so hot tonight. But I'll try and make up for it tomorrow's stream. Maybe I'll start a little bit earlier, or I'll go for a little bit later. I'll try and work out. Some kind of situation with cooling, so I'm not sweating. My goodness. I'm just leaving the lid off at this point. I'm not even going to put the lid back on. I'm just going to leave it. Because inevitably, I'm just going to be drinking for the rest of the stream. I want to go get... I just realised that because I've got this screen thing here now, that the killer whale isn't up here anymore. I need to try and figure out so maybe he can go on my bedside shelving unit, maybe. I don't even know where he is. I don't know where he's gone. I don't even know where he's gone. It's okay, I've run out. Thank fuck for that. Oh, wearing a bucket hat with headphones is not the play. It feels so weird. Oh yeah. The slug. I want to try the slug with some echo, I think. For something a little bit different. Pardon me. often, no. Andrew Tate is watching. Could you imagine? Andrew Tate would not like me, that's for sure. He's welcome to give me his Amazon Prime sub though. Imagine. Andrew Tate probably doesn't believe in Amazon Prime. Up close. How does it feel to be up so close? I should make that a redemption. Up close whisper, literally, physically, up close whispers. Okay, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. How close can I get? Whoa. Scarily close to my eyes. Death stare. Don't do that, my phone will break. Imagine dragging these nuts in your face. Okay, dude. Okay, dude. Got a bit of a headache tonight as well, actually. Hopefully it's not going to be as bad as the last headache I had on stream. God. I had such an awful migraine the next morning. Do it with the echo. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, at least I know that my headache isn't as a result of not drinking enough water. Where the hell are you getting these from? Ultimate dad jokes, these are. You can't beat a good dad joke. Dad joke. Dad joke. Of course, Chris, of course, of course. Thanks for the hydrate. Arsehole. I am going to head off now, I think, folks. It's just coming up to 1:15. I've got a bit of a headache and I am sweating buckets. So I think I'm going to call it a night for tonight. I'll be back again tomorrow from 11 PM for the gaming ASMR stream. Whether we play Stray again or whether we play a completely different game is a question that's still yet to be answered. Scroll down and join the Discord if you're not yet in there already. But if you can't, for whatever reason, see that, then there you go. Oh, fuck's sake. Hold on. There we go. Amy's got it. I need to log into my OBS anyway. yes, that's the link that was just put in the chat. Now, Mummy, I know your commands. That means you have to be here 3 times a week and sit through ASMR. But yes, I will announce on the Discord what we're playing tomorrow. Exactly. So if you're not yet in the Discord, join it up, verify your account, and then you should be able to see the announcement channels. But yes, that is it for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow with the gaming ASMR stream. We are going to raid my good old friend Echo again, because he deserves it. My personal favourite ASMR artist, male ASMR artist on Twitch. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you all being here tonight. I'll see you again tomorrow from 11 PM BST. Sleep well. Thank you very much to Charles for the 4,000 bits tonight. That is unreal. But yes, we'll be back again tomorrow night. Stay tuned. Tell Echo I say hi, and thanks for watching. See you tomorrow night. Good night, folks.